Hello and welcome everyone to today's webinar on understanding hormones and the role nutrition plays. Now, I'm very excited that everyone's here. This is a hot topic right now. This is a topic that I know a lot of people are talking about because I've been getting a lot of messaging about it. My clients are talking about it. And sometimes it's our age that brings this up. So we're going to be talking about hormones because this is going to involve everybody. We all have hormones, and I want to discuss with you how nutrition plays a role in this. But first, who am I? My name's Juliana Garcia Halloran. I'm a mother of one. I have degrees in psychology and nutrition. I've been in the personal training business for 20 years now, and a nutritionist for 12 years. So this is what I do. This is my passion. I love it. And I'm excited that I get to share this with everyone today. I'm also an IFBB bikini pro and have competed in over 30 bodybuilding competitions. So what that means is that I put my body through a very regimented program with strength training, cardio, nutrition that got me to be at my physique at the top level in the industry of bodybuilding. I'm a former pro athlete. I played semi-pro basketball in my 20s, and I've competed in multiple half marathons and some triathlons. So I have a very extensive background when it comes to athletic sports and also nutrition. And I'm currently going through perimenopause. Perimenopause kind of just slapped me in the face recently. About 5 months ago, I woke up and I started to feel different, and I wasn't sure what it was that was going on. It kind of took me by surprise, honestly, because I'm normally a woman who gets up full of energy, great sense of well-being, going to the gym, always motivated. And I had this blanket come over me, and maybe you can relate. Maybe for my ladies, you can relate, and you're in your late 30s, early 40s, and maybe this is something you started feeling. I started getting these different symptoms that I have never had before. One of them was onset anxiety, where I've never had. We have our typical anxiety. We get stressed out about work, family, home events, but this is the type of anxiety where I felt like someone was stepping on my chest. So if you can relate to that, put it in the chat, let me know. It's definitely something that I was unaware of, but there were other things going on, like my lack of motivation. I was getting more tired. So these are things that prompted me to start doing some research. So we want to understand our hormones. And as a nutritionist, I understand that nutrition plays a big role on everything that goes on with our body. Everything that we put into our body has an effect. But with hormones, does anyone ever remember 5th grade class when they showed us the video on menstruation? And they showed it to the boys and the girls, right? It was vague, but we knew they were giving us a PSA on our body. So that was my first introduction to hormones. And there really wasn't much education on it. And then after that, everything just came by circumstance. I started my period when I was in the 7th grade, and there wasn't a lot of talk other than the video they had showed us in the 5th grade about that. So if you can relate, let me know, put it in the chat. All right, so this is what we're going to cover today. These are the different topics, and what we're going to be covering is hormones, their roles, the big hitters and their functions. So we've got estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol, thyroid, and our insulin. Those are the things that we're going to be covering. I'm going to talk about the female life cycles because there are different life cycles that we go through, and we're going to see which one that you're in and see that how we can start coming up with ways to reduce your symptoms if you are experiencing any of these symptoms. We're going to talk about why we're here, hormone balance and imbalance. What does it look like to be in balance versus not being balanced? How to check for symptoms. Well, our body's going to tell us what those symptoms are, but we're going to review that. Nutrition's role and supplementation. This is why you're here. You want to understand more about your nutrition and the supplementation that we could be taking to help reduce these symptoms. And then the next steps on what we're going to be doing next. All right, now, let's get into it. What are hormones? Hormones are known as the body's chemical messengers. They're secreted on your blood where they travel to your organs and cells to perform specific functions. Also, every cell has hormone receptors, meaning our body is constantly communicating with our hormones. So they are in control of our metabolic processes, our reproduction and growth, our water and electrolyte balance, sexual function. This is huge, especially when we've had a very healthy sexual libido, and then that starts to diminish. Cognitive function and mood. It's going to affect our brain. It's going to affect the way we think. It's going to affect the way we feel, our hunger, our thirst, and our body temperature. And I'll cover the hormones that are going to be aimed towards those. All right, hormones and their function. So we're going to start with the big hitters. We're going to go right into this. We're going to start with our estrogen. So remember, these are the hormones that we're normally going to get tested for when something seems to be off as well. So I'll cover these right now, starting with estrogen. Low estrogen can cause an increase in fat. So you might have been at a set weight most of your life, and then all of a sudden you're starting to put on weight. Maybe you haven't changed the way you eat. Maybe you haven't changed your exercise, but you're starting to gain weight. So what could one of these big hitters, which one could be the cause? We're looking at estrogen. Now, it also helps to increase your serotonin and controls androgen receptors. What that means is that it's going to help with your happy hormones. So we want to make sure that our estrogen is in balance so that we're feeling good, and also so that we're not putting on additional weight. It increases growth hormone secretion, which helps with tissue repair, and it protects against Alzheimer's, osteoporosis, heart disease, and blindness. It also increases your HDL cholesterol, which is a good thing. We want that HDL. That is our healthy cholesterol number. And having correct estrogen levels can also help with hot flashes that are caused in menopause. So if your estrogen is low, you will be experiencing these hot flashes. If you can relate to this, I want to hear it. I want you to put it in the chat. So making sure our estrogen levels are balanced is going to be huge, especially for women who are going through menopause. Progesterone, the next one. This is the other main sex hormone. Now, it does regulate your menstrual cycle. This is huge. So at an early age, when we go into our menstrual cycle, our progesterone plays a very big role towards the end of our cycle. It prepares your body for conception, and it controls your sexual desire. Progesterone levels rise in the second half of your menstrual cycle. So it prepares your body to have a baby. When we are young and are having our menstrual cycle, from when we start through our 20s, 30s, and until our reproductive organs are healthy. Next, we have testosterone. Now, this is the main male sex hormone, but women, we have it too, but it just in smaller amounts. It does contribute to bone strength. It maintains our ovaries, our ovarian function, which is what we want when we were going to have babies, and it plays a role in sexual health and desire as well. So low testosterone means lowering our libido. Now, in order for your ovaries to work normally, you must have the proper balance of estrogen and testosterone. So I know a lot of women, they shy away from testosterone. Oh, I don't, they think that's what's going to cause them to have big, bulky muscles, but we don't produce as much as our male counterparts. So, but we still need to have it so that our body functions properly. Next, cortisol. This is important. Cortisol is a primary stress hormone. We all are familiar with cortisol. When we have high cortisol, that means our stress is high. So it increases our sugars, which is our glucose in the bloodstream. And we don't want to increase sugars in the bloodstream because that's unhealthy. We don't want to spike our blood sugar. But when our cortisol is high, this does happen. It also enhances your brain's use of glucose and increases the availability of substances that repair tissues. Now, elevated levels suppress your immune system, and that's not what we want. I know a lot of us get stressed out with the day-to-day, with work and life, but it's important that we try to maintain our cortisol. And there are other ways that we can do this, like practicing meditation, exercising, making sure that we're eating a healthy diet as well. Next, we have our thyroid, T3, T4, and the TSH, which is our thyroid stimulating hormone. Now, your thyroid and reproductive hormones are intricately connected. As stress can interfere with reproductive hormones directly, it can also interfere indirectly by negatively affecting your thyroid hormones. All right, so they're all coming together. When you're stressed, your thyroid functions get down, regulated. In other words, the thyroid lowers its production of thyroid stimulating hormone, the T3 and the T4. And this is a byproduct of the effect of cortisol on your nervous system. So when cortisol is high, then our thyroid isn't going to be functioning properly. And as you know, I'm sure many of you have heard of hypothyroidism, and signs of a hypothyroid, which is an underactive thyroid, are fatigue. It's a difficulty losing weight, causes depression, anxiety, a hoarse voice, cold intolerance, cold hands, feet, constipation, irregular periods. Is any of this ringing a bell for any of you ladies? These are just some of the symptoms we should be looking for when checking for symptoms of our hormones. So if any of that resonated with you, I want you to put it in the chat. And finally, our insulin. Insulin is an essential hormone that helps your body turn food into energy, and it controls your blood sugar levels as well. And that's what we want to do. Having healthy blood sugar levels is going to contribute to longevity. With the right diet and food timing, insulin can be managed to prevent diabetes. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about insulin and type 2 diabetes, and that could be from having a bad diet, eating a lot of processed foods that are high in starches. And we want to make sure that we are having balanced blood sugar so that we don't develop insulin resistance. Okay. Next, I want to talk about the different cycles, the different female cycles. Now, which cycle are you in? Now, I'm going to start with menopause because menopause is the big one. It is the end of your reproductive years, and there are 3 stages to this transitional phase. The first phase is menstruation. It's when we start our period. Okay, this happens at intervals of 1 lunar month from puberty until menopause. So that can vary from woman to woman. Okay, I started in the 7th grade. So I was about 14 years old. And then here I am at age 47, starting perimenopause. So I've had a period every month, all the way through. Well, except for the months where I had amenorrhea, when I don't have a period. And that was when my body fat was very, very low. Not a healthy place to have your body in. That is not what we're trying to achieve. I know there are a lot of women out there trying to get low body fat, but to be perfectly clear, it's not healthy when we lose our period. Having a healthy period is for having a healthy body, and also to prepare you if you're trying to have children at any time in your life. Next, we have perimenopause. So the whole time you're having your period, up until you hit perimenopause, what slapped me in my face about 5 or 6 months ago, this can start 10 years before menopause, but the average duration is 3 to 4 years. So you ovulate less, causing fluctuating hormone levels, and produce less progesterone. And this causes erratic or skip periods. I can relate with this. If any of you can relate with this, put this in the chat, because this is something that I'm going to, and it's not something that I was prepared for. Nobody explained to me, and not even my doctors, not even any of my OB-GYNs that I would see would say, were having these conversations with me. And then I don't know if any of you ladies have had the talk with your doctor with any of these symptoms, any symptoms that you've been having from any of the hormones that I've listed. And I'd like to know, what kind of conversation did you and your doctor have about it? I've had some clients say that their doctor expressed, oh, this is normal, you'll get through it. They might have prescribed them some antidepressants because they were feeling depression, anxiety. Depression, anxiety seem to be the 2 things that I hear the most when it comes to perimenopause and menopause. And this is huge. We talked about this earlier. The hormones, they affect your cognitive behavior and your mood. And that's not something that's fun to deal with every day. And it's not, I feel like I'm trapped in my body. And I want to do things that are going to make me healthier. And I want to be in better control of that, because I'm not accustomed to this. So if you can relate, let me know. And then finally, phase 3 is going to be menopause, which is going to be right before postmenopause. But menopause is the point where you no longer menstruate. Maybe some of you ladies are going through this life cycle right now. This means you haven't had a monthly period for at least 12 consecutive months. And estrogen production in the ovaries almost completely stops. So because of this, you have lower levels of estrogen as well as a lack of progesterone. Now, these diminished hormone levels cause the uncomfortable symptoms of menopause. And These symptoms are not fun. You're getting hot flashes. You're having a hard time going to bed. Your mood and behavior has changed. There's mood swings that are going around. You feel like your skin is crawling. All these symptoms are things that are they're not friendly and they're not fun to live with. And then after menopause, there is postmenopause. This is the official name for the rest of your life after menopause. And your ovaries no longer produce estrogen or progesterone. Any uncomfortable menopausal symptoms typically do go away after this, but this is a plus, right? But risk for conditions like osteoporosis, heart disease, diabetes rises. Having a healthy nutrition and fitness lifestyle are vital during this lifetime, but that's not where we want to start. We want to start having a healthy lifestyle today. If you're not already in a practice of regular daily exercise with a cardiovascular regimen and a healthy diet, these are things that we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. Okay, hormone balance. When it's great, now, when your hormones are balanced, you feel motivated. Your stress levels are controlled. Your blood sugar is balanced. Body composition is leaner. We're not adding on that additional weight. Your energy is constant. And if menstruating, your period is going to be regular. And your anxiety is lower. That's a plus. Overall, your sense of well-being is improved. Now, that's when our hormones are balanced. So we're feeling good. Nothing can get us down. Life is fantastic. But when they're not, the signs of hormonal imbalance are these: forgetfulness, fatigue, sleeping, difficulties doing anything in life, stubborn acne, mood swings. We're even getting hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness, and decreased libido. Now, if any of you are feeling these symptoms, this is definitely a sign that we need to get our hormones checked. What I'm finding is a lot of women, and this goes for men too, are not after the age of 30 for men, and then in the late 30s and early 40s for women. We start feeling these symptoms and we're not doing anything about it. So today, if you walk away from this, at least walk away knowing that you are going to get your hormones checked. That's the first thing you want to do with any of these symptoms, because the symptoms, the blood work is going to correspond to the symptoms. And when you do this the right way, we do this through someone who specializes with hormones. They can guide you in the right direction, and then they can start prescribing the things that you need. Now, things that can disrupt your hormones these are the behaviors. Now, and if you check any of these off, then it's likely that your hormones are out of balance. Eating late at night. We don't want to eat late at night. We don't want to spike blood sugar and release insulin. Then that's also going to increase our cortisol. So what we're doing is we're promoting, these bad behaviors are promoting our hormones to get out of whack. An unhealthy diet. Have you checked in lately and checked your diet to see if you are eating healthy? And that means little processed foods, more whole foods, less chemicals in your foods, and also having a strategic plan of eating throughout the day. We eat every day. Everything we put in our body does matter. Too much stress. High stress can cause your hormones to be out of balance. As I mentioned earlier, cortisol being that hormone that when it's too high, it keeps your body out of balance. Eating a lot of sugar can contribute also to unbalanced hormones. Nutrient deficiencies. Are we on a supplementation program where we're getting all of our phytonutrients and our micronutrients that are going to complement our macronutrients, which is our food? Drinking too much caffeine. You want to make sure you're limiting your caffeine and keeping caffeine on early in the day so that you're not high strung in the afternoon. Not enough sleep. Sleep is so vital, and that's a whole nother topic of discussion. It's important that we're getting at least 8 hours of sleep a night. I know that's the standard, right? Getting enough sleep is going to repair your body and prepare it mentally and physically for the next day. Not enough exercise can also contribute. Exercising is so important for everything, for your current health and for longevity, for preventing osteoporosis, also for adding on lean muscle mass so that you can increase your metabolism, also for having a healthy metabolism and keeping your body composition where it needs to be. And finally, using toxic beauty and cleaning supplies. So anything that we're using on a day-to-day basis, you want to check your products and make sure they're not toxic. anything that gets to our skin, remember, this is the largest organ in our body. Anything that's getting into our skin is going to have an effect. It's going to seep into our cells, and it's going to have an effect on our body. All right, so where do we start? Well, first you want to check for your symptoms, okay? You want to know which life cycle you are in. If you're still menstruating and you're not feeling any of these symptoms, then you're doing okay. But doesn't mean that later, wherever, maybe if you're 27, maybe in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years like me, you're going to start having these symptoms. You want to get your blood work checked. This is vital. If you don't know where to go, I have a link right here, and I will share it with you in the follow-up email where you can go. It's all online. Telehealth medicine. Andrew's the owner. He will take great care of you. They do a phone consultation, and you'll fill out your forms. Then you will get your blood work done, and then they will make a prescription dependent on your test levels and seeing where you are with your hormones. I'm using them. I'm currently on hormone replacement therapy, and I've been on it for the last 5 months, and I am feeling better. Now, you want to get your blood work checked every 60 to 90 days. Andrew has a great team. They're going to take care of you, and they're going to keep you on track. So if you don't know where to start, a great place to start, and you have some of these symptoms or most of these symptoms, then you want to get your hormones checked. You want to speak to this professional about the next steps, and they're going to do everything for you. Is hormone replacement right for you? If you're a little skeptical about it and unsure, and you want to do a little more research before you dive in, there are supplement options like Project 23 that I'll go over here in just a few minutes. Next, we're getting into the bones here. We have nutrition and how it affects your hormones. Now, eating a healthy diet is essential for maintaining balanced hormones. This is a big part of it. As we've all heard, 80% of your diet, of any results, come from your diet. And diet is just a part of life. We eat every day. So why not nourish our body with the best foods possible? So eating a variety of nutrient-dense foods can help to ensure that your body has the vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients it needs to produce hormones and keep them in balance, or we create nutritional deficiencies. So making sure we're eating whole foods, less processed foods, less junk food, less fast food. I know that we're in a society where we're on the go all the time, and we want to have it now. We want to have it fast. We can have anything delivered to our home, but being in control of your food and being in control of what goes in your body, you're the only one in control of that. So choosing the right foods is going to be a big deal. If you're unsure and you don't know where to start, then I highly recommend hiring a professional like myself, a nutritionist, who is going to guide you and set you up with a plan of action so that you are eating healthier. Additionally, avoiding your processed and sugary foods can help to prevent spikes in insulin. We talked about not wanting to spike your insulin earlier, which can disrupt the balance of hormones in the body. So food plays a huge role when it comes to your hormones. And we want to make sure that we're eating the right food so that we are having our hormones regulated properly. Eating a healthy diet can help to ensure that your hormones are balanced, which can lead to improved physical and mental health. So if you don't do anything, we walk away today, we want to make sure that we are starting a healthy diet. Now, if you registered for this webinar, then you received an ebook on different steps on starting a healthy diet, from grocery shopping, preparing your food. So I love your feedback. Email me and let me know how that book worked out for you. And it's definitely a great place to start if you're unsure on how to start with your healthy diet. Next steps. Okay, let's start with a healthy routine. You want to make sure that you're doing a healthy diet. So nutrition, start implementing new eating behaviors and strategies to nourish your body. I'm going to provide you a nutrition guide after this webinar as well. So you've got my ebook, and then I'm going to give you another guide that's going to help you to get on track. You want to create a supplement routine. Ask me about mine. I'm going to go over in just a minute. And you want to make sure that you make time for exercise. Aim for 45 minutes to an hour a day and commit to your fitness. I also have workout programs that are available. Here's my supplement list. This is something that I actually take on a daily basis. I start with my Access OptiPack. All right. So it has all the multivitamins, adaptogens that I need to complete my essential vitamins and minerals for the day. And there's a link here, and there's a link here that we can go to, but I'm also going to share all these links with you in a follow-up email. Liquid BioCell collagen. I love this collagen. The collagen that I've been using now is great for hair, skin, nails. It also absorbs under the tongue. So it's a liquid one. I've tried many different collagens out there, and so far this is the best one that I take. Then we have phyto greens. You want to make sure you're taking your phytonutrients. And the phyto greens, it's a green drink that I take. I drink it before I have my first meal. And it delivers 27 carefully selected, highly bioavailable and bioactive ingredients, including marine and leafy greens and adaptogens to help optimize alkalinity, energy, and digestive health. And then I take a pre and probiotic. So this is for your gut microbiome, and it's the master switch to wellness. I'm sure a lot of you have heard that your gut is like your second brain. We want to make sure we have a healthy digestive system and gut in order to absorb all of the macronutrients that are coming into our body. And like I mentioned before, Project 23. Now, Project 23 is for any of my ladies that are going through perimenopause or menopause. And Project 23 is something that I've been taking now for the last month, which I feel like has been benefiting me when it comes to my perimenopause. And what we're going to do, the cool thing about this, if you are not wanting to take any hormone replacement therapy, this has no hormones in it. It's first of its kind approach. A female OB-GYN, she owns the company Modere, and she created this product. We just launched in February 21st. And for anybody that gets on the pre-order list, you'll be getting this after March the 10th. So if you don't do anything except for maybe starting your nutrition, and that's definitely something I want you to start doing, and you don't want to take HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy, I recommend trying Project 23. Again, this is a non-hormonal supplement that is going to help alleviate your symptoms when it comes to perimenopause and menopause. Okay, so we've covered everything that we talked about, hormones and their functions. We talked about the balance of hormones and imbalance and the symptoms to look for. We talked about nutrition and the role it plays. Now, understanding that nutrition does play a big role, we want to start from there. We want to make sure that we're eating a healthy diet. We want to make sure that we're taking the right supplementation. We're drinking enough water. We're getting enough sleep. There's a combination of things that are going on inside of our body, and we want to make sure that we are doing the right things in order to balance our hormones. Now, if you have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and open the chat up for questions. If you want to contact me, if you're looking for some nutrition guidance, I'm a nutritionist, I'm a virtual coach, and I do offer multiple programs that can help get you on track. I highly recommend getting your hormones checked if this is something you haven't done already. And I will provide that link to Tygenics in a follow-up email. And I highly recommend following me on Instagram, social media. This is where I'm sharing all my nutritional practices and fitness practices. And it's a great way to get value. And if you'd like to sign up for my newsletter, I have a monthly newsletter that's going out. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and open it up for questions here. I want to thank everybody for joining me today, and I appreciate your time. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.